days in which everything seems to go wrong. Whatever you do or say backfires, and you realize the best solution would be to take a shower, hit the reset button, go to bed, and just start afresh the next day. I think that's what the internet needs to do right now, because we're reaching new levels of absurdity with the whole #Barbiegate situation. To bring you quickly up to date on the situation, even though Barbie, directed by the acclaimed and multiple Oscar-nominated Greta Gerwig, and starring the, again, previously Oscar-nominated and highly regarded and popular actors Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling, has amassed over $1 billion in revenue, became one of the most beloved and top-selling films of all time within just 6 months, garnered numerous awards at major film festivals, and is credited with contributing to the success of other films like Oppenheimer. It currently sits as the most popular film of all time on Letterboxd and has secured a whopping 8 Oscars nominations at this year's edition. Despite all these remarkable achievements, people furiously took to the internet, hammering down on their keyboards, saying how the fact that Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig weren't nominated for Best Actress and Best Director is an absolute tragedy, attributing it to a systemic bias against women in the industry. Some argue that had they been men, they would have received a nomination, and even thrown out words like conspiracy to hold women down. People are complaining of men stealing Margot Robbie's award in the Best Actress category. And this isn't just random internet trolls. Even journalists speculated that Margot Robbie's character could have earned a nomination if she had done some sex work. Even political figures like Hillary Clinton weighed in, saying that they are enough. What's happening here? This film has racked up numerous awards, included some of the most random nominations like America Ferrera as Best Supporting Actress. And why are all these people supposedly supporting women suddenly ignoring Justine Triet being nominated as a director, amazing performances like Divine Joy Randolph in The Holdovers, Jennifer Lame's well-deserved nomination as the editor for Oppenheimer? Oh yeah, they're not complaining about them because they're not so popular names. By the way, interestingly, many people took to the internet to complain about the all-male directors, not realizing that Justine Triet is a woman. And I'll get to this later in the video, but people are mistakenly taking all of this as a huge political moment, a pivotal point in the history of women's rights, mistakenly entertaining, fun, surface level activism with groundbreaking cultural impact. Let's take a step back for a moment. First and foremost, we should ease up on placing so much significance on the Oscars. While they do provide insight into some quality films worth watching and can certainly introduce lesser known titles to people outside the film loop, they shouldn't be the sole basis for discovering great cinema. And they aren't a definitive measure of the best movies of the year. There's no indicator for that. This means if you truly love a film, your opinion doesn't change based on what a group of people write down on their ballots, especially in such a marketing influenced American-centric environment. I'm not going to naively overlook the significance of the Oscars as an important award. A nomination or a win can significantly impact an actor's or director's career, particularly when they're starting out. However, of course, this is not the case for the already widely popular Barbie, and for the average common moviegoer like you and me, our taste doesn't need to change. We're not forced to suddenly like the winners, and our tastes are not any less valid. At the same time, you have to come to terms with the fact that there is a difference between what you like and what is suitable for an Oscar. This is what happened last year when Everything Everywhere All at Once became the most popular film of the year. Everybody went with the trend and justified sweeps on all sides, and some of the most ridiculous wins like Jamie Lee Curtis. And you couldn't say anything about it because it was the film. And for the people who are complaining that a $1 billion movie not being nominated is suspicious, big revenue doesn't automatically mean good movie. If it did, we'd see franchises like Fast and Furious and Transformers dominating the Best Picture category. And it looks like the Golden Globes this year introducing the award for box office achievement is a means for people to celebrate their big favourite movies, regardless of, let's say, artistic value. That's why films like Super Mario, John Wick were on the list, and again, Barbie won even that. Furthermore, attributing conspiracy theories to the Oscar voting process is unfounded. Yes, every big business has its dodgy aspects. I'm sure there are a lot of favours and influences going going on there. Marketing and political stances are very important when picking a film, but the way in which this Barbie snub is being described, it seems as if Oscar voters are secretly gathering together with this evil master plan to come up with whose career to ruin and who to make win. Now, turning to the feminist perspective, there is a narrative of people talking about the difficulties of being a woman in this industry. But I wonder, what more could have Barbie achieved? It's literally one of the highest grossing, most popular and successful movies in history, achieving this status within a mere 6 months. With nearly 1.5 billion in revenue, its impact is undeniable. The film has sparked memes, prompted people to recite quotes and engage in challenges. The names associated with it, Margot Robbie, America Ferrera, Greta Gerwig, Billie Eilish, are among the most prominent figures in the industry today. And as much as I admire Nolan's work, I recognise that without the Barbenheimer, his film wouldn't have garnered as much attention. So what exactly is Barbie being robbed of? Where are women facing challenges within the context of this film? Instead of focusing solely on the Oscars and this particular movie, why not conduct a realistic examination of the film industry and acknowledge the prevalence of certain demographics in specific environments? Diversity and representation are not just buzzwords, so why not broaden our perspective to consider different film industries and award ceremonies and filmmakers and actors beyond what the usual old Oscar race is trying to sell us? For how much the Oscars try to convince you that they now recognise diverse talent and stories, their track record is less than stellar. Films are not only Hollywood and what's playing this weekend at your local cinema. There is literally a whole world out there. And we're fortunate to live in an era in which within the next half hour, you could have access to the most indie, lesser known film created on the other side of the world. So instead of beating the bongos on your keyboards, why not use your time to create interesting conversations? After all, we, the viewers, are the ones who shape the industry, who decide who will become rich and popular and what film will be the biggest of the year. Anyway, getting back to the nominations, people are also wondering why Ryan Gosling got nominated for Ken, but Margot Robbie didn't get nominated for Barbie, when a significant portion of the film revolves around Ken. The whole Kenaf and I'm Just Ken are central to both the storyline and the film's marketing. And while people are saying that men have robbed Margot Robbie of her award, Ryan Gosling being nominated as a supporting male actor is in no way related to the category of female protagonist actresses. But some argue that despite being a culturally impactful feminist movie, the fact that Gosling secured the Oscar reinforces the film's message. But I wonder, did people actually watch this movie at this point? And it's worth noting that if Ryan Gosling hadn't been nominated, there would have still been dissatisfaction. There's no way of pleasing people with this movie, if not with awards across every category. Furthermore, it's highly unlikely that Margot Robbie and Greta Gerwig would have won even if they had been nominated. We all know that. So was all this outcry about pushing other women off the list just to prove how popular they are? It wasn't about women in general. Interestingly, nobody's complaining about America Ferrera's absolute nonsense nomination. So why, with all the problems women face in the world, do we still just use our time to complain about these issues? For me, this is peak performative feminism that in the end drives people away from the real issues. So in summary, enjoy your favorite movies, regardless of what a couple of rich famous people read off a piece of paper on stage. Celebrate the popularity of the films you love and try to figure out why a certain nomination didn't go through. And always remember, the film industry is a money-grabbing business like any other. Do you really think the TV networks and media outlets cared about inclusion and diversity when Parasite won? Or when Ke Huy Quan gave his emotional speech? Or when Yalitza Aparicio was nominated? Or were they wondering how to get the best-selling shot, the most click-inducing title? And please get out there, explore more movies, enjoy the cheesy bad ones and find beautiful hidden gems. There is a whole world out there. And don't worry, Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie are going to be absolutely fine with the amount of money and popularity they made from this film. They're not disappearing anytime soon.